Hello everyone. Welcome to our chemistry journey. Today, we are diving into the fascinating world of ions, cations, anions, and polyatomic ions from your Class 9 chapter, Atoms and Molecules. We'll explore what makes atoms gain or lose charge and how these charged particles are fundamental to everything around us. From the basics to advanced concepts, we've got a 4-level journey packed with insights and practice questions. Let's get started. Ready to uncover the secret behind why some atoms carry an electric charge? Let's begin with the easy level. So, what exactly are ions? Simply put, an ion is an atom or a group of atoms that has an electric charge. This charge happens when an atom either loses or gains electrons to become more stable, much like the noble gases. If an atom loses electrons, it becomes positively charged. If it gains electrons, it becomes negatively charged. For example, a neutral sodium atom can lose one electron to become a positively charged sodium ion. There are two main types of ions, cations and anions. Cations are positively charged ions, typically formed when metals lose electrons, like sodium becoming Na or magnesium becoming Mg superscript 2. Anions are negatively charged ions, usually formed when nonmetals gain electrons, such as chlorine becoming Cl or oxygen becoming O superscript 2. And then we have polyatomic ions. These are groups of atoms that stick together and collectively carry a charge, like the ammonium ion, NH, or the sulfate ion, So superscript 2. They act as a single unit. Now, let's test your understanding with some quick practice questions. What is an ion? Give one example of a positively charged ion and one of a negatively charged ion. How is a cation formed from a neutral atom? Illustrate with an example. And finally, identify the polyatomic ion from the given list, Na, Cl, So superscript 2, Mg superscript 2. Take a moment to think about these. Alright, moving on to the medium level. Let's dive a bit deeper into the reasons behind ion formation. Atoms form ions primarily to achieve stability, often by reaching a full outermost electron shell, known as the octet rule. Metals, being electropositive, tend to lose electrons to attain the electron configuration of the noble gas before them in the periodic table. For instance, potassium with its one outermost electron readily loses it to become Ak ion, mimicking argon's stable configuration. This process is fundamental to understanding chemical reactivity. On the other hand, nonmetals are electronegative, meaning they have a strong tendency to gain electrons. They do this to achieve the stable electron configuration of the noble gas in the same period. Consider fluorine, which has 7 electrons in its outermost shell. It readily gains one electron to become an F ion, completing its octet and becoming like neon. This electron transfer is key to forming stable ionic compounds. Polyatomic ions, as we briefly touched upon, are fascinating. They are groups of atoms, covalently bonded together, but the entire cluster carries a net electrical charge. This charge arises from an overall imbalance of protons and electrons within the group. Common examples include the ammonium ion, which is a cation, and hydroxide, nitrate, carbonate, sulfate, and phosphate ions, which are all anions. These complex ions are crucial in forming a vast array of ionic compounds and play significant roles in many chemical reactions. Time to practice with some medium-level questions. Explain how the octet rule guides the formation of ions from neutral atoms. Write the electron configuration for a neutral oxygen atom and explain how it forms an oxide ion. Differentiate between a simple ion and a polyatomic ion with examples. Why do metals generally form cations while nonmetals form anions? And finally, name 2 polyatomic ions commonly found in fertilizers. Ready to analyze ions more deeply? Let's step up to the hard level. Ions are the very essence of ionic compounds. The strong electrostatic forces between oppositely charged ions drive the formation of stable crystal lattice structures. While forming individual ions might require energy, the immense energy released when these ions come together to form a lattice, known as lattice energy, makes the overall process highly favorable. This balance of energy is critical. The tendency of an atom to form an ion is also governed by its ionization enthalpy, the energy needed to remove an electron, and its electron gain enthalpy, the energy change when an electron is added. Low ionization enthalpy favors cation formation, while a highly negative electron gain enthalpy favors anion formation. We can often predict the charge an atom will take based on its position in the periodic table. Group 1 metals, like potassium, typically lose one electron to form a +1 ion, while Group 2 metals, such as magnesium, lose 2 electrons to form a +2 ion. Nonmetals in Group 17, like chlorine, gain 1 electron to form a -1 ion, and Group 16 elements like sulfur gain 2 electrons to form a -2 ion. This predictable behavior is tied to achieving a stable noble gas configuration. This charge also directly relates to an element's valency, its combining capacity. For polyatomic ions, their names often give clues about their composition, especially oxyanions ending in -ate or -ite, indicating different numbers of oxygen atoms while maintaining an overall charge. Understanding these energy factors is key to predicting ionic behavior. The interplay between ionization enthalpy and electron gain enthalpy determines an atom's propensity to either donate or accept electrons. For polyatomic ions, their structure, often involving a central atom bonded to oxygen, dictates their overall charge and chemical properties. The -ate and -ite suffixes in their names are not arbitrary, they reflect the number of oxygen atoms and, consequently, the oxidation state of the central atom. This systematic naming helps us comprehend the vast array of ionic compounds and their intricate structures. These ions don't just exist, they actively participate in forming the stable compounds that make up our world. Now for some hard-level challenges. Explain the driving force behind the formation of an ionic bond. How do ionization enthalpy and electron gain enthalpy influence ion formation? Predict the charge on ions formed by strontium, phosphorus, and iodine. Why is the valency of sodium 1 and oxygen 2? Differentiate between sulfate and sulfite ions. Write the chemical formula for ammonium phosphate. And finally, discuss the stability of ions compared to their parent atoms. Are you ready to truly master ions? Let's push the boundaries and explore the hardest level, delving into competitive depth and real-world insights. From a quantum mechanical perspective, ion formation is about achieving the lowest possible energy state. Electrons are gained or lost following principles like the Pauli exclusion principle and Hund's rule, aiming for stable orbital configurations, often mimicking noble gases. The concept of effective nuclear charge, or ZEF, is crucial here. When an atom forms a cation, the remaining electrons experience a higher ZEF, pulling them closer to the nucleus. Conversely, in an anion, increased electron-electron repulsion leads to a lower ZEF, causing the electron cloud to expand. These subtle changes at the subatomic level dictate the size and properties of the resulting ions, impacting their interactions with other particles. In solution, ions don't just float freely, they interact strongly with solvent molecules, especially polar ones like water. This process is called solvation or hydration in water. Water molecules, being dipoles, orient themselves around ions. The partially negative oxygen end attracts cations, and the partially positive hydrogen ends attract anions. This ion-dipole interaction releases significant energy, known as hydration enthalpy, which helps overcome the strong lattice energy holding ionic compounds together in their solid state. The extent of hydration depends on the ion's charge density. Smaller, highly charged ions like Mg superscript 2 are more extensively hydrated than larger, singly charged ions like Na, forming a dynamic shell of water molecules around them, influencing their mobility and reactivity in solution. The reactivity of ions is a complex interplay of several factors. Charge density, which is the ratio of charge to ionic radius, is paramount. Higher charge density leads to stronger electrostatic interactions, affecting solubility, complex formation, and even their catalytic properties. Smaller ions, particularly cations, possess greater polarizing power, meaning they can distort the electron clouds of nearby anions, influencing bond character. Furthermore, an ion's electron configuration plays a huge role. Ions with stable noble gas configurations are generally less reactive, while transition metal ions, with their incomplete d or f subshells, exhibit variable valency and often form vibrant, colored compounds. More advanced theories, like hard and soft acid-base theory, further categorize ions based on their polarizability and charge density, predicting their preferred reaction partners. Understanding these nuances is essential for predicting and controlling chemical reactions involving ions. Ions are not just theoretical constructs, they are fundamental to life and technology. In biology, electrolytes like sodium, potassium, and calcium ions are absolutely vital for nerve impulse transmission, muscle contraction, and maintaining the delicate osmotic balance within our bodies. Industrially, ions are the workhorses in various applications, from the movement of lithium ions in batteries that power our devices, to ion exchange resins used in water purification to remove unwanted ions, and in electroplating processes where metal ions deposit onto surfaces. Even in chemical synthesis, specific ions act as catalysts or reagents. Their ubiquitous presence and diverse functions underscore their critical importance across scientific disciplines, from understanding biological processes to engineering advanced materials. Let's tackle the first set of hardest-level questions. Explain how the concept of effective nuclear charge changes for a sodium atom when it forms a sodium ion. Describe the process of hydration for a magnesium ion in water, explaining the forces involved. Why do smaller, highly charged ions tend to have a greater polarizing power? How does the electron configuration of transition metal ions contribute to their varied reactivity and color in compounds? Discuss the critical role of specific ions, like Na and K, in the human nervous system. Now for the remaining hardest questions. Compare and contrast the factors that determine the stability of an isolated gaseous ion versus an ion in an aqueous solution. Provide an example of how polyatomic ions are essential in agricultural applications. Explain how the lattice energy of an ionic compound and the hydration enthalpy of its constituent ions determine its solubility in water. What is meant by charge density of an ion, and how does it affect its chemical properties? And finally, describe two distinct industrial applications where the properties of ions are directly utilized. That brings us to the end of our in-depth exploration of ions. We've journeyed from basic definitions to advanced concepts and real-world applications. I hope this session has clarified your understanding and sparked your curiosity. For more such comprehensive educational content, practice questions, and interactive learning experiences, visit synapse.omaps.in. Don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more exciting lessons. Keep learning, keep exploring.